Welcome into KTBS 3 News at 3, everyone. I'm Alex Anderson.
And I'm Courtney Butts. Thanks for joining us. The Atlantic is revealing more messages from a group chat among top cabinet members in which the magazine's editor-in-chief was accidentally added.
The messages reveal that specific sensitive information about strikes on targets in Yemen was shared on the chat thread. Julia Benbrook joins us with the details.
Shortly after the Atlantic editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg's article revealed that he was inadvertently added to a group chat where top officials were discussing national security information, the Trump administration looked to minimize the story.
Nobody was texting war plans.
Even the president himself claiming that no classified information was shared.
There was no classified information, there was no problem, and the attack was a tremendous success.
While Goldberg kept some details out of the original article, saying it felt, quote, too confidential, he said those comments presented a dilemma.
At a certain point, I just felt, let our readers decide for themselves. Read these texts that I got sitting in my car on my phone in a Safeway parking lot 2 hours before the attack launched, and you tell me if this seems like good operational security.
The messages revealed Wednesday show that top officials were sharing timing and targets of specific strikes in Yemen. At one point, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth wrote, quote, "This is when the first bombs will definitely drop." Moments after the Atlantic published the text messages, the White House continued an attempt to downplay them and tried to discredit Goldberg's reporting. The National Security Council has verified the authenticity of the text thread. At the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
KTBS 3's Jonathan McCall joins us now here at the desk to add some perspective on the fallout. Jonathan, many of our viewers might not know this, but you served in the military, you handled classified information, and what was your experience in handling sensitive material?
One of the first things that we saw on that text thread that we saw from Pete Hegseth that the Atlantic posted was the weather. And that is what I did. And weather is very important in each one of these missions that they carry out, which requires you to go and plan and figure out exactly where those targets are. There has to be a specific time that you can go to where if you're going at night, you want to make sure that you're not hitting the sun. And if you're doing a specific target, they also talk about those weapons packages. Some of those weapons work better in certain conditions than others. So those are all sensitive things that you have to go and be briefed on. You have to brief the pilots on. You have to brief the captains on. So anyone involved in that planning of that mission, you definitely have to make sure that all of that information is top secret. Even in the military, when we were there, not everyone has a clearance to have that information. So one of the things, then one of the concerns was, how did that Atlantic editor-in-chief get on to that text thread? And one of the things that we learned early on when we were talking about special operations and dealing with these sensitive information, these sensitive topics, when I used to have to give briefings, we had to make sure that everyone in the room listening to this information, even on the phone, had a clearance to do so, from a secret clearance all the way up to a top secret clearance as well.
That is fascinating stuff. We thank you for that input. I mean, I'm learning stuff about you right here today. That's awesome stuff.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So there's another mission this weekend, not nearly as critical, but it is the air show.
A lot of folks will be paying attention.
Yes, and the weather, very critical to that as well. Let's go to Caroline.